Dear student, welcome back to your mathematics class. Today we'll discuss the decimal, chapter 9. At first we discuss the discussion through the skews. So skews, first one, what is the another way to represent fractional amount? Fractional amount, we can represent that one using the fraction. At the same time, we can represent that one by using the decimal. Okay, so what are called decimal? The numbers expressed in the decimal form, such as 0 0.1, 0 0.3, 2.3. Your point is missing. Yes, 2.3 etc. are called decimal number or decimal. So if you get any number like this one, you will identify that one as the decimal. How many parts are there in a decimal number? You can observe that before the point there is one number and after the point there is another number. So there are two parts in a decimal numbers. First one is called whole number parts, another one is called decimal parts. So we'll go for explanation later, then you will understand what is whole part and what is decimal part. What is called a decimal point? Okay, what is called a decimal point? A decimal has two parts. I already told you these parts are separated by a dot called the decimal point. Which one you call a full stop in case of language? This is called dot in case of mathematics. The number are separated putting a dot. Okay, this is called dot and it is called decimal point. What is called whole part in a decimal numbers? Whole part, the digit lying to the left of the decimal point. You just observe the point. The left side one is the whole parts and the right side one is the decimal part including the point. Okay, what is called decimal part? The decimal point together with the digit lying on the right of the decimal point. So if you observe here 0.1, so 0 is the whole number and 0.1 is the decimal part. If you observe this number 2.3, 2 is the whole number and 0.3 is the decimal part. 2 is the whole part and 0.1 is the decimal part. Now the skews. How can we represent 1/10 in decimal? Okay, we can represent 1/10 as decimal 0.1. 0.1. So next, how to read decimal 1? How to read this number 0.1? It is read as 0.1. What are called integers? The number such as 0, 1, 2 and so on without fractional part are called integers. The whole numbers are called integers, all the natural numbers. 0.3 equal what? Okay, how can we convert the decimal into fraction? I show you that one. At first you write the number, okay, as a whole. So 0.3 is there, so we write here 3 whole number, forgetting the fraction. Then for point, 1 point is there, you give 1 below, and after the point there is 1 digit, so you give 1 0. So it is 3/10. Classify this number in decimals and integers. I told you the number which have the point, it is decimals, and which have no point, these are integer. So you can identify it very easily. Decimal numbers are 0.6, 2.7, and integers are 2 and 4. We should separate this a bit, putting the space. Okay. Identify the whole and decimal part in the number 57.023. So in the decimal number 57.031, the whole number part is 57 and the decimal number part is 0.031. Be careful, decimal part must include the point. Decimal part must include the point. Now one of the important thing, how to compare decimal numbers. Following the 3 steps, we can compare a decimal number. First step, we need the decimal numbers. At first, if anyone tell us to compare the decimal numbers, if it is given in fraction, we have to convert it into decimal, or if it is given in decimal, it is okay. So at first we did the decimal number. Second step, we'll compare the whole part. The whole number part with getter number will be getter. If the whole number part are equal, then go for the next. We'll compare the whole part. The whole part of the decimals is getter. That decimal number will be getter. If the whole part is equal, then we'll go for the comparison of the decimal part. Okay. Compare the last left digit of the decimal part. How will you compare the decimal part? You compare the last digit of the 2 numbers with the getter left digit. At the last will be getter. If the left digit at the last of the decimal part are equal, then compare the next digit and so on. So we compare the left digit. If it is given, for example, 35.35 and 0.25, we compare the 3 and 2. As 3 is the getter, it will be the getter. But if it is equal, if it is given, for example, 0.35, then 0.37, then at first we compare 3 to 3 equal, then we'll go for comparison of the 6 and 7. As 7 is the getter, so that part is the getter. In that way, you can compare the decimal numbers. Look here, compared to 23.14 or 14 or 8.67, 23.14, 8.67. How can we compare? So whole part is 23 and the whole part is 8. If we compare 23 and 8, 23 is the getter, so 23.14 is getter than the 8.67. Compare 53.47 and 53.81. The whole part is equal, 53. Then we go for comparison the decimal part. 0.47 and 0.81. If we compare 4 and 8, 8 is the getter, so 53.81 is getter than the 53.47. Compare 81.39 and 81.37. If we compare the whole number 81, so we'll go for the decimal part. In decimal part, at first we'll compare the left number. So left number is 3. So if I compare 3 and 3, both are equal, then we go for the right one. 9 and 7. 9 and 7, 9 is the getter. 9 is greater than 7. So 81.39 is greater than 81.37. So in that way we can compare the decimal numbers. So I repeat, how do you compare the decimal number? At first you must get the decimal number or obtain the decimal numbers. Then what will you do? You will compare the whole part. Okay, after the comparison, if the whole part is equal, if the whole part is okay, greater and smaller, then you can decide. But if the whole part is equal, then you go for the decimal parts. In case of decimal part, first compare the left number. If left number is equal, go for the right number. Then if you comparing the right number, you can decide which number is greater and which number is smaller. As there is the exam for you, I don't assign any SW, but you note down all these SQs in your home note copies and practice it. If you don't understand anything, you comment. I'll try to make it clear. Wait for the next class and have a good exam. Allah Hafiz.